Welcome to the world of Gary the Gassy Grasshopper. It was a warm, lazy afternoon in the small town of Creek Hollow. Gary the Gassy Grasshopper and Jim Bob the Frog were sitting on their favorite log near the pond, sipping on fresh lemonade and chatting about the latest town gossip. "You hear about the barking spiders, Jim Bob?" Gary asked, adjusting his brown cowboy hat. Jim Bob nodded. "Oh, yeah. Heard they're the stinkiest, meanest gang around. Folks say their farts are so bad they clear out the whole saloon in 10 seconds flat." Gary shuddered. "Whew, that's impressive, but also kinda terrifying. You think they're really that bad?" Just as Jim Bob was about to answer, a low, rumbling sound filled the air. At first they thought it was thunder, but then the smell hit them like a ton of bricks. "Oh, Lordy," Jim Bob croaked, waving a webbed hand in front of his nose. "What in tarnation is that?" The bushes rustled, and out skittered the barking spiders, eight-legged, mischievous, and wearing tiny black bandanas around their necks. Their leader, Big Bubba, was the biggest and stinkiest of them all. He narrowed his beady eyes at Gary and Jim Bob. "Well, well, well," Big Bubba said, his voice deep and raspy. "Look what we got here, boys. Two fellas who think they're the gassiest in town." Gary and Jim Bob exchanged nervous glances. They had earned their reputations for being gassy, sure, but against the barking spiders? This was a whole new level of flatulence warfare. "Now hold on, Big Bubba," Jim Bob said, holding up his webbed hands. "We ain't looking for no trouble." Big Bubba smirked. "Trouble? Nah, we don't mean no harm. Folks just misunderstand us. We ain't bullies. We're just cursed with powerful backsides." The other spiders nodded solemnly, their little legs tapping against the dirt. "But," Big Bubba continued, "since y'all got a reputation too, how about we settle this once and for all? A good old-fashioned stink-off." Gary gulped. "A stink-off?" Big Bubba grinned. "Yep, a contest to see who's got the most powerful, nose-wrinkling, eye-watering gas in all of Creek Hollow." Gary and Jim Bob looked at each other. They hadn't backed down from a challenge before, but this was next level. Jim Bob sighed. "Well, Gary, if we're going to go out, we might as well go out with a bang." So, the showdown was set. The townsfolk gathered at the clearing near the saloon, all wearing clothespins on their noses. The rules were simple. Whoever could clear out the most folks with their gas would be crowned the Stink King of Creek Hollow. Gary and Jim Bob sat at the table outside the saloon and ate cowboy beans and drank root beer. "Time for the stink-off." Gary went first. He took a deep breath and let one rip. It was loud, it was proud, and it sent 3 squirrels falling out of the trees. The crowd gasped and backed up. Next was Jim Bob. He drank his root beer, rubbed his belly, and let loose. The ground trembled slightly, and a group of fireflies immediately dropped from the sky. Then came the barking spiders, each one lined up, eating spicy chili and boiled cabbage. On Big Bubba's count, they all let loose at once. The explosion of gas was so powerful it shook the trees, turned the air green, and sent the entire crowd running for the hills. Even Gary and Jim Bob had to retreat. When the stench finally settled, only the barking spiders remained, victorious. Big Bubba chuckled. Ain't nothing personal, fellas. We just got a gift. Gary coughed. Gift? That's a biological weapon. Jim Bob wheezed. I think my eyeballs are burning. Big Bubba laughed. Hey, at least now y'all know we ain't so bad. Just a bunch of misunderstood fellas with potent digestive systems. From that day forward, Gary and Jim Bob spread the word. The barking spiders weren't mean. They were just gassy. And with that, a new alliance was formed. The barking spiders had won the stink off, but Gary and Jim Bob had gained new, smelly friends. And so, life in Creek Hollow went on, stinkier than ever.